everyone, welcome back to Chaos Corner. I know this vlog is late and I am sorry. And also, why is my hair up halfway? Not sorry. Basically I enjoyed Thanksgiving. We had, Lord help me, 3 different Thanksgiving events this year for a first, an absolute first. So every year we go to Thanksgiving at my mom's. Thanksgiving is my dad's big thing, always has been. We go to Thanksgiving at mom's. My sister was there with her dog this time. My sister's got 2 dogs. One is a bit older, smaller, and terrified of my children. She doesn't bring that dog to see me very often. For obvious reasons, okay? Jethro is, I swear this thing is a domesticated wolf, okay? Frigging huge. He looks like someone upsized an Arctic fox, a black fox, not Arctic. Pointy ears, pointy snout, whole bit, big bushy tail, except he's this damn tall, okay? Huge dog. Giant baby. Pansy dog. Usually flipped out by my kids, but also equally enamored with them because they drop food, they move, they play. Apparently they also mimic prey. So she comes back in. The kids were playing outside in the rain. I wasn't going out there. I've had a cold. She took this dog out to go to the bathroom while the kids were playing out there. And my younger 2 children ran and screamed. And the dog went for the back of their knees. We heard her yell at that dog on the other side of the house. She comes back in. She's like, well, nobody expected this development. So I had to talk with my kids about screaming around dogs. Apparently the younger 2 had not gotten this memo yet, and Jethro about taught them the hard way. Not that I think Jethro would have actually damaged my children, but he's a big dog. He could have hurt them without trying, and then much like the cat has learned his lessons the hard way, the dog would have gotten hurt. And nobody wins this scenario. Nobody. But yeah, we had an entertaining time at Dad's house. Figured out... I accidentally turned the video off with my cup. We figured out my siblings are going to be the easy ones for Christmas this year. My brothers just want Steam cards. And my sister's gift was accidentally discovered. No idea what to get her boyfriend yet. We'll figure that out. But then we had Pie Day at our house, which is our personal tradition that we started a long time ago. Because, yeah, Thanksgiving's my dad's big day. So we've done Thanksgiving with Dad, except for a couple of years at the beginning when we were trying to divide between the families. And eventually we stopped doing that because we had a baby a year after we got married. And every time we tried to drive down to his family's house on the holiday, there was some horrible traffic problem. And we drove because it's normally from where we're at, the area we're in, to where they were at the time, was normally a 3-hour drive. The end of the rope came the day it turned into a 6-hour drive, and upon arriving at our destination, we learned an oil truck had blown up on the highway halfway down, and I was like, alright, this is the last time we try this, because we'd been trying for 2 years at this point to get down there on holidays, so we just started going down around the holiday, where my parents have always been less than an hour's drive away. So like even with traffic, which did happen a few times when they lived further away, right now they're 20 minutes away. They used to be about an hour-ish, 45-minute drive away, and even then it was an hour and a half when there was bad traffic. It did happen, but it wasn't common. But yeah, we did our Pie Days. What we started doing, actually after the oil tanker incident. But early on, we would go to Thanksgiving at my dad's almost every year, except for the few we tried to go down to his family. And then we'd have Pie Day. And what Pie Day was is all the leftover dessert pies, because I take the pies to my mom's house. And that's because there's 2 reasons for that. One is freaking Pie Day. But the first year I did that, I had 2 small babies. And previously the tradition had been that I make the Jell-O salad thing. It's a Martian salad. It is not as nasty as it sounds right away. but it's a little weird. Well, it is Jell-O, and I could not transport 2 small children all of their required paraphernalia and a bowl of Jell-O intact. So I started doing the pies. So that's what I do every year, is I take all the pies to Mom's. The next day, any pie that we didn't leave at Mom's, and because we will leave some pies like pumpkin and apple, I'm supposed to bake a duplicate because those are favorites for both the kids and some of my family. And my dad doesn't like my pecan pie, so I buy him a pecan pie and leave it there. But any pies we didn't leave at Mom's and the duplicates that I baked, and chicken pot pie or turkey pot pie is what we have on Pie Day. And all of this stuff is pre-done, so I basically get a day off on Pie Day. I pop pies in the oven to heat up. That's it. That's Pie Day. And then, this year, we also did a turkey dinner. Because, as I mentioned in a previous vlog, when the SSI came, or not the SSI, the payments for my kids came in, I panic bought Thanksgiving. Suddenly we had money for food and holidays, and I was flipping out. My mind was not okay, but I knew I wasn't going to screw something up by buying a frickin' turkey. So, Svava had not been able to make it to anyone's house for Thanksgiving, and she was going to come down on Pie Day, but she had to work really late and was just too tired to make it down after that. So we made a turkey dinner. Like, I was going to cook that turkey and turn it into soup if we didn't need it. Because we are a little slim on the groceries right now. We're fine, we've got food. It's just payday's Friday. So I was like, you know what, we're just going to cook turkey. We're going to have an extra turkey dinner with whatever the kids want with it. So we did. And I turned that into turkey noodle soup last night. We ate, it was dinner. But then the leftovers, I got 6 quarts of that stuff canned up for backup food. This is something I do every time I make soup, chili, stew. I can the leftovers. And then we have emergency soup, emergency food. Oh God, I'm too sick to cook food. Tucked away. It's like, yeah, we've got food, okay? I got food. We're just gonna run out of, all the fresh stuff on Friday, when we get paid. So yeah, we're doing great. We had a good Thanksgiving. For the most part, relaxing, toned down. The kids started getting a little attitudey with me as of Saturday, but they're relearning that some of the rules stick because things, when we were running out of money, starting to run out of, like right now, yeah, we're going to run out of food Friday, but we know where the next grocery trip's coming from. We know that we are perfectly flipping fine until the day it is convenient for me to go get groceries. Toward the end of those couple of months where we were, stove was broken, car was broken, and we were running out of money, we hit a point where we didn't know where the next grocery trip was coming from. And during that spat, I was not okay. My husband was not okay. So a lot of the rules and routines started slipping. That was the only clue my children had that anything was wrong. Everything started slipping. And they're getting used to that not being the case anymore. The rules stick. There is no getting around them. And that's that. So they started giving me attitude Saturday because that's what was going on. That was sticking even with the holiday. But we're doing fantastically there. We had a good weekend. The Christmas tree is up in my hallway. I did my first hand-sewn project that did not have any of my blood in it. Because I can't use my machine. And I was running out of patience and knitting and going stir crazy without the machine. Never expected that to happen. So I pulled some extra flannel out of I've got a ton of flannel in there. Some plaid flannel that was not anyone's specific chosen fabric. It was just something I got from Mom. Or like I bought it as quilt filler, I don't remember. But it was a piece that was almost the perfect size. Or so I thought, for what I was doing. Trimmed it down to the size I needed, and folded it and made a magic bag. Big old magic bag. because every year we take all of their action figures. They've been collecting these 12-inch tall superhero action figures for, God, it's been a decade now. And we're talking Marvel, DC. Recently, they've added Minecraft characters to the mix. God help me. Those hurt to step on, okay? Don't step on them. But they're really flippin' durable. The Creeper has broken like 8 times, and all I gotta do is glue the little, what it is his legs are separate and they snap in. Well, the snap in part broke, so I just super glued that part back on. Still works just fine. But I've had to do that like 3 times. He takes some beatings because he's a creeper. He's gotten some unexpected flying lessons a few times, and boy does that get people grounded fast. That thing hurts. But we take these things, and at night they come to life. I have always hated the elf on the shelf idea, okay? I don't know what it is about it. I don't like it. Abso-freaking-lutely hate it. But one day I was perusing Pinterest or Twitter, I forget which, and someone had put up pictures of what they do is they will take the toy dinosaurs, and the toy dinosaurs come to life at night instead of the stupid elf on the shelf moving around through the house. I hate that idea. Don't know why, really don't, but I hate it. So these toys that they've been collecting for over a decade, they will come to life at night and get into mischief or set things up for Christmas or any various number of things. And we have had a problem every year with getting them all put back where I can freaking find them for the next night. Because there's a lot of them. They've been collecting these for years. I can't count them. I'll try to count them tonight. I will actually try to count them tonight. But I haven't been able to adequately count them in several years. There's over 30 of them. I know it. And I made a magic bag for them so that they would actually get back in this flipping bag so I could find them every day. And we start this right after Thanksgiving. Somewhere around the week after Thanksgiving, we will start this, and it will go through till Christmas. Sometimes it goes to New Year if I've got that kind of energy. That doesn't happen often. But I'm going to start taking pictures or videos of that happening throughout the week to post on here, maybe, I don't know. But to actually get some of that posted. Because it gets creative sometimes. But I didn't bleed on that project. And then it bit me in the butt because I forgot to set them up one day, and the kids come in here and like, the magic bag doesn't work. It took a lot of convincing to point out that maybe the cat scared them back into the bag. I can't forget that again. That backfired so hard. But the Christmas tree's up. We're going to start getting Christmas decorations up. We are starting to plan for Christmas. And I am starting a newer project with some newer hobbies. The kitchen is to where I can start filming in there soon. So I will be able to film the baking and the canning over the course of the holidays. That's going to include... I'm not going to film this part because I know how nasty those cabinets are. I have not used the lower cabinets in my kitchen for anything short of, oh God, I have nowhere else to stick this. Because I don't like using them. There's a couple of reasons for that. One of them is they're bare wood. There was water damage in the house when we moved in because there was a long weekend right before we closed on the house, and they actually had to wait to close on the house for another 2 weeks because someone came in here, ripped out all the copper, stole the HVAC unit, stole the exterior AC unit, tried to steal the water heater, and neglected to realize it was hooked up to some electronics. Someone got a hell of a shock of their life and decided that thing was not worth stealing. But they left it broken on the floor, flooding the house. Stole the stove. And we come in here and the house was shredded. And the cellars Real estate agent? Yeah, that was it. Seller's real estate agent was showing it to us before we needed to see it again before closing. Was showing it to us, and he called the seller and said, "We cannot sell this like this. We cannot," because they had ripped it out of the ceiling. They had shredded the house. But they wanted this thing sold because, like, our offer to buy it had fallen through. Then another offer had come in and fallen through, and then we came back and wanted it again. So the seller's like, we had so much trouble buying this house. Everybody involved was like, I have never had this much trouble with anything. But the seller they wanted it done. They wanted it done. They wanted it sold. That was it. So they got someone in here to fix it. We closed on it the next week. They were still fixing shit when we closed. So there is water damage because the guy they hired did not fix it the way he should have for some of the stuff. But my lower cabinets have water damage. It's not bad. Like, we have cleaned it up, but it warped the wood a little bit. And we've had bug issues, and every winter, when it gets cold, a couple of rodents will get in here. That's why we have a cat. Well, the problem is we have cut down all of the sanctuaries for these little buggers when they get in the house, except my lower kitchen cabinets. Because there's doors on the front of them. And it's a narrow narrow kitchen, so you can't leave these things open, okay? You will get damaged. Everybody will get damaged, and the house. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in there and take those doors off and put curtains in instead of the doors, so the cat can get under those cabinets. This means there is no place for these stupid rodents to hide anymore. Because they've been coming up with the pipe. They'll come in where the pipe comes into the house. Under the sink, and it doesn't matter what I do, they will chew through it and get in there. And then, eventually they die because they do screw up eventually. Like right now, there are no rodents because the batch that came in this year were clearly young and inexperienced. Like, one of them ran to the cat for safety. Something was wrong with that one. And yes, it died promptly. But yeah, they're all dead now. They're not in the house. But they leave their remnants where they have gone. And we had bug issues. For a while there, I was at risk of finding a gecko when I got into those cupboards. And we encouraged the geckos, but they scare the living hell out of me. Because they move like a snake. You don't see the legs right away, okay? But they eat the bugs. Like the house gecko tries to stay out of my sight, out of my path, and eats the bugs. I have only deliberately removed 2 of those little suckers from my house since we moved in. One, the cat jumped up and removed from the wall. So I saved its poor little life and stuck it back outside. They're house geckos. It was going to come back in. But it would come back in with a little more knowledge and time to stop having his heart explode before he got back in the house. And the one that I found in my bathroom. They scare the crap out of me. He's not supposed to be in my bathroom. It was no. So I scooped him up and put him in the pantry. Where, he's got adequate room to hide from me and lots of things to eat. Because that's where the spiders like to hide. That's where the other bugs like to go. And with the geckos, we don't have anywhere near as many bug problems as we used to. So it's... I encourage the geckos. But moving my blender to find one scares me. And then I drop the blender. In related news, I don't presently own a blender. It's okay, I didn't use it that much. But that's why I don't use those cupboards. Because there has been stuff in here that scares me. They're poorly lit, and I can't fix that. But if I put the curtains in, then I'm not going to find random things in there anymore, and they're not going to get dirty as easily. I mean, I might find the cat hiding in there, but look, the previous cat would hide in the oven, so, I'll deal. So that's a project I'm going to do. I will probably start baking in there before I get that done. Because honestly, most of what I'm doing with the lower cabinets is storing canned goods. I've got them piled up in various corners of my house, and they need a place to go. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna clean out the cupboards, put the curtains in there, take care of that. I'm gonna get some contact paper to put in there, because when they fixed the water damage, what they did was peel up the contact paper, so it's all raw particle board down there. It's like, I don't want to put stuff down there because I can't clean it properly. It's terrible. So I'm gonna fix that. I'm gonna fix the lower cabinets basically. The upper cabinets I've already cleaned out. Some of them do need contact paper put back on because the edges were peeling of the contact paper in the upper cabinets, and when I pulled them down, I could see the back half that had not been painted and realized I'd seen this contact paper before. On my play kitchen. In the 80s. This is why it was peeling. So yeah, I've got to put new contact paper in the upper cabinets too. And it was a rainbow grid pattern. I legit instantly recognized it because I adored that play kitchen. I think my dad may have built it for me, but I adored that thing. I was like, oh god, I know this pattern. I know this well. Oh god, that's been up here a long time. So yeah, pulled all that down, and we moved my baking dishes up there. My baking dishes, cooking pots and pans, because I had to. The house is staying clean better because I finally decluttered the entire damn house. I had to play hardball. Now here's what's going on. We are outgrowing this house. That's life. That's reality. We knew we were probably going to outgrow the house eventually when we moved in. That was before they were diagnosed. Now we know damn well this house is going to get too small, and it's already happening. Because now each of the 3 children are going to have medical equipment. And turns out their medical equipment is a lot larger than my brother's was. They've made advances, new equipment, things to keep the kid walking longer, like the standing frame that's out there. That thing's massive. That is the size of my greenhouse out back. The failed. A playhouse. Okay, a kid's playhouse. That's how big that standing frame is. In my living room. I am surprised I got a Christmas tree out there at all. It's the cat's using it as a hunting stand, again, because that's the only place I can put it. But, yeah, the tree did make it out. But that standing frame's huge. He's already got a manual wheelchair out in the car. Which we do have, by the way. We got the car right before Thanksgiving. It's not registered yet because our pastor, he wanted us to have it for Thanksgiving. So we could actually get to my mother's house and get groceries and crap. But we've got to get it registered, and the church is paying for that. They just, when they got the part in, it had to be driven for a week for all the sensors to reset, so they couldn't get... That's what happened. Time was not on our side. But we're going to have large amounts of equipment, and we are outgrowing the house. So, I had to play hardball when I gutted everyone's belongings. Basically any pot, pan, cookie sheet, anything that I don't like using, gone. The only rarely used dish that I still have out there is the roasting pan with a lid that my husband's stepmother gave me when she realized I didn't have a roasting pan. And she's like, oh, I don't use this one anymore. Here, it's old. I can see that it's old, but it is glorious. It works wonderfully. It's got a nice lid on it. It fits conveniently into my cupboard, and it's even still got the little bottom that you lift out to move the meat, which I kind of wish I'd used to cook that turkey, because I put the turkey in the crock pot for 7 hours, and when I went, I took a spatula and a spoon, scooped under the turkey, and went to lift the turkey, and what came out was the spatula and spoon. Straight through the turkey. I no longer cared that I didn't have a meat thermometer to find out if the turkey was done. That much was kind of obvious at this point. But her little roasting pan thing would have been a whole lot easier. Everything would have actually come out. But I don't use that one very often. I use that once or twice a year, which is as often as I'm going to use any roasting pan, okay? I have a spare crock pot that I actually forgot I owned until I went to put the vegetables in for Thanksgiving and realized I could not get them in with the turkey. Kept that, keeping the spare crock pot, because, yeah, that was necessary. But again, I use it once a year, maybe. All the other pans and things that I don't like using, don't like having around, they went in the trash. Recycling, actually. They went in the recycling. Pots and pans, things I didn't have lids for, it just gone. I'm done. So everything fits in my cupboards now. It's amazing. Everything except, obviously, I have spare cupboard space because most of my actual appliances don't fit in the cupboard at all. It's not that there's not space in my cupboards, it's that the cupboards are legit not large enough for the size. Look, I have a canner that is that big. Okay, that will not go into any cabinet in my house. It's not possible. It's a huge pressure canner. I love that thing. Thank you, Mom. But I've also got a smaller electric pressure canner. I have an Instapot. They're all too damn fat for these cabinets. Any cabinet. So, like, all my dishes are in the cabinets. The food is in the pantry now, so I can more easily see what we own. And the only thing that I don't keep in there, and I have to find storage space for, is my home canned goods. And I'm trying to get us backstock. I'm trying to get a backstock of food stored so that we don't have problems like what we did last month, where we ran out of money and started running out of food and had no idea where the next meal was coming from when that ran out. I'm not in that place now, and I don't ever want to be there again. So I'm going to clear out the lower cabinets so I have storage for my canned goods. All my appliances are finding various other homes. Like, if I don't use them very often, they live in the laundry room. Right? Like, I don't use a lot of my appliances that often. I own a Foreman grill. I don't use it that often, and honestly, that one might be going soon. Because we stopped using it at all because we outgrew it. There is a larger one we can buy. I have no idea where the hell I'd put it, and we've kind of found other workarounds. Like, we had the Foreman grill because it lowered the fat content in some of our meats. Well, I stopped using the high fat content meat at all, usually, unless I'm using it for literal gravy. You don't want to drain the meat off your gravy, okay? Or drain the fat off your gravy. That's counterintuitive. That doesn't work like that. So the Foreman I might be getting rid of, I don't know. I have to keep Don written in mind when I make these decisions with some of the kitchen stuff, because he does cook too. And if he wants to keep the Foreman, we keep the Foreman. But I might convince him that we need the larger one instead, because I can only get 2 to 4, depending on the size of it, pieces of meat on this thing, and we got 6 people. So that's kind of one of the iffy ones that's still haunting my laundry room. But the things I don't use very often end up in the laundry room. The massive canner, okay? I use that once a year. Maybe twice. It lives on the stove for like a week when I'm using it, but that's because it's constantly running. I have a water bath canner that's the same flipping size. Same thing. I use it maybe once a year, and then it's constantly running for almost a week. Those live in the laundry room, right? With all of their necessary paraphernalia tucked inside them. My little pressure canner, I use that one a lot more often for canning leftovers for a couple of reasons. One is the the electric one, I don't have to babysit. I set the settings and the time, turn it on, and that's it. It'll beep at me when it's done. And then I just reload it. But I usually have to run it, like last night for all of that, I did 6 quarts of soup and 1 of gravy, and that I had to run it twice. So like, it's not very big, but it's big enough for the during the week use. That one lives somewhere in the kitchen area where I can find it. My large crock pot, the big one I use primarily, it lives on the counter. So does my mixer and the toaster oven. Food processor goes wherever the pressure canner goes, because I use it about as often. I don't own a blender anymore. We've got this little shake mixer thing that we keep just in case we need it again, because it's impossible to find. We bought it when my kids were supposed to be drinking these nutritional shakes to help get their weight up, and then we learned HerSprings was a problem. So I don't actually need that thing anymore, but it was glorious when we found it, and there were only 2 that we could find online at all. We keep that. It goes in storage somewhere because I don't use it, along with the electric hot plate that we keep just in case, because we've had the stove out, we've had the problems with the gas in the past when the gas line is out for a repair or something or maintenance. I can't cook. So we have an electric hot plate for that, those issues. Like, this is just emergency backup things that when we need it right now. We can't wait for something new to show up or for someone to go to the store. So that's why we have those. But they're 2 tiny little things that we put in storage. They're in the shed, or supposed to be in the shed. I forgot where they lived. They were actually under the... Look, I lose things. I've got a mandolin slicer that I don't use that often. I'm probably going to start using more. But it lives in the laundry room, right? I've got pasta maker attachments for my mixer that live in the laundry room. Partially because I can't store those in the kitchen. They can't get wet. If they do, they get destroyed. And 1/2 of my lower kitchen cabinets will sweat when the temperature outside drops really far or gets really high. So I can't store them there. That's actually how I lost my first pasta machine. So it's just a little fuzzy where we put stuff. But I have gutted. All of our bedding has been gutted. All of our toiletries have been gutted. And I just finally told my husband, we have to play hardball. This is not optional anymore. I got no crap from my kids. We played hardball sorting their toys when we separated them, and I got no crap for the toys we got rid of. I was shocked. But we're getting there. They are learning this is better without all this clutter. Now we still have decorations. Okay, there's still decor running around. We just pack it up when each season ends and shift to the new stuff. Once something in those decorations break and I can't fix it anymore, we throw it out. Lights. Lights are a huge one there. When a light string breaks, I can't do anything about it. So we throw it out. A lot of ornaments I can fix. Wreaths. Village houses. We do a Christmas village every year, and I can actually fix the houses most of the time. I had to have D-Written help me fix the last one, because it was a barn with this little, it had a weather vane on top. Well, it was this itty-bitty wire glued in the top of the thing. So when it popped, I couldn't do anything about it. It had broke the tiny little bit of plaster that was holding it upright, and then the weld where the 2 pieces of wire touched also broke. I can't weld. I sure as hell can't weld cheap aluminum. So D-Written printed me an itty-bitty piece of plastic that goes on the top of the bottom wire with a notch in it for the other wire to sit on. Like that, little things like that to fix things we can do. But we go to that length, and when I can't fix it anymore, that's it. It's got to go. It's got to get trashed. It might get replaced, but it's gone. We don't keep shit that's broken anymore. And that's been a huge change in everybody, even D-Written. Like, he keeps a couple of busted machines to tinker with, but he's started limiting how many of those things he keeps on hand, because he used to keep dozens of parts for projects he wanted to get to, but he's come to understand now, you gotta be a little more realistic with this. And sometimes you just gotta ditch it. But he still has, 1 or 2 he's gonna tinker with someday. Fine. He's got his container. We're doing the container system. His container is his office. Okay, I don't clean in there. I will on occasion go in there and take care of the floor and get the trash out and crap. But I don't clean his office. Not unless he's asking for help. Same thing in my office. He don't clean in here. I think he's actually scared to open certain areas of this room because God knows what's in it, including pins on the floor. But yeah, we are going into Christmas. I know this one went a little long and rambly, but things are doing so much better. We got a couple of projects we're planning. We are going into Christmas prep season. The kids are super excited. On the 8th, I think we have another vlog before then, but on the 8th, they've got their big, everybody goes to the hospital for most of the day appointments. So that's going to wear the crap out of me. And we have a grocery video coming up. Votes are in. You guys want to see a grocery video? Great. I'm going to have 2 little co-stars for that, at least 2 little co-stars that will be going to the store with me. I was planning to do a Costco thing, but I don't shop at Costco. My mom's going to let me borrow her Costco card, take me in there with her to see if it's of any good for me. But I can't, with the appointments and his family coming for Christmas and regular Christmas, my anxiety levels will not handle planning for another unknown, and Costco's an unknown. So I am going to do my restock on the video. We're going to do the regular kitchen restock, house restock on that grocery video, but we're not doing Costco. I can't plan for Costco. So we're going to do it the way I normally do it. And then there may be another video of Costco. I'm going to go with my mother, and I'll probably pick up some of the, baking stuff while I'm there, because I cannot buy the amount of flour that I've been going through for a whole month in one go. I have no place to put that. So I will get some baking stuff when I go with my mother and check and see, is this worth it? And then I suspect what's going to happen is there's going to be another grocery haul video where I go into Costco. But that grocery haul thing will come up in the next 2 weeks. I don't know when it will actually get online. It depends on how much editing that requires. But this video will go up ASAP, and it is running long, so I'm going to cut it short. There will be more Christmas talk in the next video. Go ahead, and if you're enjoying this and want to see alerts when other videos like the groceries go up or when baking starts, subscribe, like. I don't know what the notification bell does. I legit don't know. If you do, go for it. I don't know. Like, subscribe, have at thee. I will see you for Game Saturday and next week on a vlog.